Hey guys, Brian here. So, I'm pretty sure you guys can know this, but I got myself a new camera. This is the Omni or Osmo Pocket 3. Highly recommended to me by YouTube, and so I'm pretty happy with it. And the pretty cool thing about this is I could flip it and show you guys the dogs. So, welcome to vlog 6 now, and let's go ahead and show you guys the dog. We're about to go on the walk. I'm about to tie him up. They already know. They hear the word. Hey, sit. 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 Look at the good babies. Look at Mac. Such a cute guy. Sit. Sit. Give me a paw. Give me a paw. Good boy. Give me a paw. Give me down. Hazel, sit. Down. Oh, Mac's already on his belly. Anyways, got them ready, and the cool thing is that you can just flip it around, and it kind of just tracks your face. And I feel like something that I've been really struggling with is just kind of having the camera that I can focus onto, because I feel like I'm always looking around. I'm like walking, I'm kind of like just like not really used to walking with a camera in front of me, but this makes it a lot easier. So enjoy, and I'll see you guys after the sequence. Alright, we're back. So, I think a quick video I wanted to make is, and I feel like a question that a lot of people are probably wondering is, do I regret purchasing the GR Corolla after, the honeymoon phase is now over, right? It's been maybe like 6 months. Maybe it's still on, I still feel like I love the car. I feel like I get a little bit of like butterflies, little car guy butterflies when I drive the car, when I get in the car, when I shift through the gears. And so to kind of answer a long and drawn out explanation that I'm about to do, and to summarize it in like 2 words here, I do not regret purchasing this GR Corolla. But let me tell you why. So, as far as why I got the GR Corolla, I guess we could start there, right? Because I was obviously, as someone that is buying a $40,000 car, is cross shopping. There's a couple of different options, right? They say like the Civic is a fair option to Type R, or even the WRX, or even I would say, even if you go down the used market, you could get like a Shelby, a GT350 or somewhere around there. Those are all cars that I kind of considered before purchasing this car, and something that kind of drew me to this car instead of those, I would say, was going to be kind of just all-wheel drive system. The all-wheel drive system, it being a hatchback, like I know not everybody's a hatchback person, but me personally, I am. I love hot hatches. One of my favorite cars in the past 10 years was the Focus RS, and one of my favorite cars that I've ever personally owned is a Fiesta ST, and I felt like this felt like a nice little contraction, a nice little baby of like an STI and a Fiesta ST, because it's small. It's about a foot smaller than the STI, right? But it's about, I would say a good, you know, um, a good bit bigger than the Fiesta ST, right? And so it's kind of like in the middle, and the power to weight ratio is really well. 300 horsepower is a good amount of horsepower. It's technically, right, slower than the STI, slower than the Type R, but at the same time, I think the all-wheel drive system makes up a lot for whatever deficiencies it may have had being a 3-cylinder, right? But the thing is too is like if you ever get a chance to drive one of these things, I say do it and really bang around in those gears and really go through the rev range, because this car is not slacking at all. I mean, if anything, it feels like it has a 4-cylinder, you know? But with that being said, why did I go with the GRC, the GR Corolla? I think it's as easy as once the GR Yaris was announced, it not coming to the States, me really wanting that car, me really being a big fan of what Toyota was doing and getting into rally, and I've always been a big rally fan, and so that's one thing. And so the all-wheel drive system was a non-negotiable, so that kind of already off the rip eliminates all possible things. You know, I guess obviously there's the newer WRXs I could have maybe went for. I want something different. Obviously I have an STI, and so I don't think that was ever even an option. Me personally, do I like the looks of the new WRX? You know, I'm not going to really get into too much detail there, because I know that, you know, some people like it, some people have it, some people, you know, really are really getting into that platform. So I don't want to, you know, disrespect anybody by saying that I don't like it. Personally, is in my taste. You know, I'm just gonna leave it as I really like my STI, and I just wanted to kind of, you know, I felt like getting a WRX was going to be anything crazy compared to getting an STI or getting the GR Corolla, which is like a whole different platform, right? So with that being said, you know, I say that that's probably my biggest driving force for the GR Corolla is the fact that it's all-wheel drive. I mean, I could have gone Focus RS, right, used, and that could have possibly been, you know, a better option. And I did like the Focus RS, but I think the GR Corolla, it being new, it being Toyota, it's seeming like it's gonna possibly be reliable. You know, hopefully, we'll see kind of how it holds up with time, because it's still a pretty new platform, right? No one's really, you know, no one's really abused it. I mean, there's one channel on here that I feel like I've been watching a lot of, and he's been able to push his to like 500 or 600 wheel horsepower, which is pretty crazy. You know, I mean, he's running into a lot of issues, but it's crazy that a 3-cylinder can do that, right? Because you gotta realize too, all these big horsepower numbers, all these big engines, a lot of them are 6-cylinders, a lot of them are 4-cylinders, a lot of them are V8s, you know, but not a 3-cylinder, which is insane. You know, you're already at a big disadvantage, right? I line up with a Mustang on this thing, and I'm already down 5 cylinders, right? And so that's one thing, and I hope the wind isn't too big of a factor here, but I'm really liking this new camera, right? Because it's like I can kind of just talk, it kind of tracks my face. I don't really have to worry if I'm like lined up or not. And then even this little feature here where I could just be like, all right, let me just rotate you guys, and then boom, suddenly I am now locked into the Corolla here, right? And I could just kind of track in and just continue talking. And so with that being said, but yeah, so, and me personally, I love the styling of the GR Corolla. So with that being said, I think for me, my heart was made up. And another conversation I had with someone that's also kind of a fan of GR Corollas and really liked the GR Corolla when it was announced is the fact that there's so many, all the newer cars, sorry, there's a train passing, but with all the newer cars that are being released, right, there's so much size and so much size being added, whether it's the WRX that's already bigger than my current generation WRX, which is crazy because my generation WRX was bigger compared to the previous one, you know, and that one was bigger compared to the one before that, right? And then same thing with the Civic. The Civic, it gets longer, it gets wider. You lose that compactness that I feel like old Japanese cars used to kind of have. I remember I owned an IS300 before I owned this car, and I remember just getting into that car, thinking like, wow, this is just such a small car. It had such a small little wheelbase. It was such a fun car. It made maybe like 150 horsepower, but out of a 2JZ, naturally aspirated, right? But it just felt so quick, it felt so light, it felt so small. I felt like I could park wherever, I felt like it could fit wherever. It was fun to drive in the canyons, right? And so that size is such a, I feel like it's something that so much people are not considering anymore, right? People don't really want to buy smaller cars. Even watching multiple reviews on this car, everyone always talks about how small the car is and how it's small compared to its competitors. But I felt like that's something for me personally that I felt was something that was so cool that the Toyota was able to do, was keep it so small and in hindsight compared to all of its competitors, and still keep it so competitive. This car honestly feels like a go-kart, and I feel like I would probably, me personally, like I'm so happy with the purchase. I'm so happy that I went with the GR Corolla. I'm happy I stuck with my gut, because a lot of people were kind of telling me like, you already have the STI. Do you really need another 300 horsepower all-wheel drive, little rally car, right? And I felt like personally, it's kind of true. Like, did I need another one? But I felt like it's just once you drive something like this, I mean, obviously there's bigger monsters, right? There's the GTRs in the world, there's the Evos in the world, and there's other platforms that are all-wheel drive, but also, you know, that also bring, some good numbers. But I felt like just how iconic this car felt like it was going to be. And I mean, I think already as it is now, I feel like Toyota's starting to win more people over, which is nice. And I feel like the community that I've experienced behind owning this car has been so welcoming and so exciting, because I felt like you get a sense of community with every car you buy, right? Every car has its own set of community, its own group, its own people. And I felt like I haven't felt as welcomed and as together as I have with the Corolla than I did when I had the Subaru. The Subaru community, hands down, is one of the best communities. If you guys see Subi Fest, right, it's just hands down energy. The people are the best. Everyone's so helpful. Everyone's so accepting. Everyone's so welcoming. I felt like with the Corolla, it has been the same. I mean, I can't speak for any other platforms. I mean, the IS300 platform was its own set of deals. I felt like I met a couple helpful people, but the most part I felt like everybody was kind of on their own. Everybody was doing their own things. Everything that you wanted to do, you're on your own, right? And so that being a part that I kind of didn't really know going into the platform, but then once I got into the platform, quickly being added to like a group chat, right? Even like as simple as having the group chat of all of the GR Corollas in all of Southern California, so that way you're able to meet people, you're able to make friends, you're able to go to these events, and you're able to actually like network and be with people that enjoy the same things that you enjoy. And I felt like that's what car community should be about. That's what car community has always been about for me. And I felt like this community, the Corolla community, has been the same way. And that is another thing to consider when going from Type R versus GR Corolla. And the nice part about the Corollas too is I felt like Toyota has been doing a better job of making them more accessible. So with that being said, the markups are not nearly as bad. I felt like initially some dealerships I was talking to, the markups were rough, right? They're up there. But as I suddenly, started to negotiate with them and like really talk to them and really get the numbers going, right? I was able to turn like a $4,000 markup down to a $500 markup, right? And that's all it really takes. And I felt like, because the thing is, at the end of the day, these are more available. I know a lot of people that just paid MSRP, paid even maybe a little bit under MSRP for one, right? It just depends on your negotiation, but at the same time, it also is helpful that Toyota has made these a little bit more accessible. They have produced a lot more of them, so that way you're able to actually find a decent amount in your area. So that way it's not like, oh, this is the only Corolla within 100 miles. We got 20 Corollas to look at the same city. Now the dealerships aren't feeling that sense of like, oh, now we got to mark this up because this is going to be the only one we're going to move in a couple months, right? And so with that being said, you're able to get these for pretty much MSRP nowadays. As the Type R, I've noticed that most people can't even get them for under, I want to say like, 5,000 markup, which is insane. And I feel like at that point, you know, you're charging $50,000 to $60,000 for a Civic. You know, it's like you're better off getting the Supra, right? And so that's another factor. And I felt like, do I regret my purchase? No. And do I love the Corolla? Of course. And will I continue to love the Corolla? Yes. And I think it would take a lot for me to really dislike this platform. It would take a lot for me to really dislike the community, and I feel like it's just not going to happen. So with that being said, I'm gonna leave you guys there. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.